Harer Nama Harer Nama Eva Kevalam Kalo Nasteva 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 Gatiranyatan.
Accept my humble obeisances. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Bhutale Srimati Krishna Krishna Prabhapada Nupaprimatpatne Gaudesha Kasartama Bhakti Vaishne Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachanane Vishesha Shunyadi Pashyapta Desatani Vancha Kalpataru कृपा सिंधु भयवशपतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण. Thank you, Gopi Manohar Prabhu and all the devotees. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Um, we have assembled here for the continuation of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are very fortunate by Guru, Vaishnava, and Krishna's mercy, devotees' mercy. We have assembled here that we are getting the opportunity to hear and chant the glories of Krishna through the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And especially now we are here, we are going to hear from, continue hearing from Lord Kapila Dev. Of course, he is telling to Mother Devahuti, but then we are getting the benefit. And today, the two verses, 17, 18, little tricky or little technical, but then we will see how we can implement, how we can understand and implement in our life. So let me begin. Before we begin, this is a nice verse. Of course, everyone knows from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, verse 43. So what it says? It says the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially for Kali Yuga. How fortunate we are. I mean, we have to thank Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara so many times that we are getting this light in the Kali Yuga. I mean, everything we have so many questions, not these material questions, but the spiritual questions about the existence, about what we are going to see now. These questions are already answered in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And this verse is summarizing that Krishna Swadhama. Okay, maybe I'll ask someone else. If anyone wants to recite and read through the translation, please. Feel free to unmute yourself and then please recite nicely.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
कृष्णे
Raji.
स्वधामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह कलौ नष्ट दृशामेष पुराणार्को अधुनोदितः. Translation by His Divine Grace Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This Bhagavad Puran is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Raji. So, yes, persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance. And that's how we are coming out, right? I mean, um, many years back in our life, we were living in that dense darkness of ignorance. And now we are just gradually opening our eyes. Not that we are fully in ignorance. We should thank for that, Guru and Krishna. But at the same time, we are not fully open so that we remain humble and we progress towards developing that pure bhakti. And we are getting the light. So let us continue. Let us pray. by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That Shri Radha and Krishna, they always keep us engaged in their pure devotional service at their lotus feet. So with that, we begin today's journey. So I've tried to create some slides so that the interaction becomes easier and positive. Otherwise, just sometimes just speaking, especially online classes, is becomes tricky. Um, so this is Canto 3. Uh, Canto 3, the status quo, and we are on the chapter 26, the fundamentals of the material nature or the fundamental principles of material nature. And who is speaking? Kapila Dev. And who is Kapila Dev? He is the son of Mother Devahuti. And who is Devahuti? She is the wife of Kadama Muni. And who is the Kadama Muni? He is a great devotee of Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. That he did so much great austerity, so much tapasya, so much with the devotion that Lord himself appeared in front of him and he blessed him. I say, yes, my dear son, my dear Kapila, sorry, my dear Kadama, I understand your um, desire, and now I will bless you with wonderful devotee wife, and I will personally come to you as your son. Consider how fortunate they are that the Lord Himself is coming and He's giving the instructions um, as a son to mother. And nowadays the question is going on about the sometimes we read in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then they question, oh, you treat women as less intelligence, or you treat women like other ways, or you don't give the equal rights. But here, look at that position. The mother is listening from the son, is listening, and what she is listening, not ordinary philosophy. She is listening Sankhya philosophy. This is here the chapter is titled Fundamental Principles of Material Nature. It's not, if you see compared to 10th canto, there is no as such rasa going on here, like Madhurya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, Leela. Here, these Leelas are not going on. But this is the fundamental of the devotion. Through this, if we understand these principles, our devotion will progress. And how it will happen, we will learn as we progress in the verses. So today's verse, we have covered previously other verses. So today's verse is 17. So I recite, Prakrite guna sam yasya nirvisheshya manavi chetas yatah sa bhagavan kala iti upalakshitah. What Lord Kapila is saying, my dear mother, O daughter of Swayambhu Manu, she is not ordinary lady, woman. So he is reminding that you are my mother, at the same time you are such a great personality. Swayambhu Manu, such a great personality. Krishna also mentions his name. The time factor, as I have explained, is the supreme person of Godhead, from whom the creation begins as a result of the agitation of the neutral, unmanifested nature. So this is basically talking about the Pradhan. We will see later. So as we progress in this verse, in the purports, which I will try to show as well, down the line, Srila Prabhupada had mentioned two analogies. And for that, I have presented this picture. So the last line talks about the family, in the sense the the progeny comes from the union of male and female for the any species of life. This is a fundamental principle of material creation. And from that perspective, this is the original principle. There is the male aspect and there is the female aspect. There is the enjoyer aspect and then being enjoyed aspect. So this is the fundamental. Again, this title of this chapter is Fundamental Principles. So again, here is also given this is how the family happens, whether it's a human form or any other species. This is the fundamental principle. And it's nicely given in the Srimad Brahma Samhita, very nicely elaborated. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Of course, it becomes little tricky to understand, but he has explained very nicely. And then another analogy is given of um, the nipples on the goat's neck. So just for the understanding, this is what is mentioned. And we will discuss a little bit about these two analogies down the line. But I wanted to show the picture first. Um, and then the second verse, I mean, we just go through the translation now, and then we will just discuss through these verses together. So the 18th verse, it says, Antah Purusha Rupena Kala Rupena Yo Bahi Sammanyati Esha Sattvanam Bhagavan Atma Maya. Atma Maya. By my own energy or my desire or my um, choice, he says. What he says, by exhibition, or sorry, exhibiting this, sorry, by exhibiting his potencies, the Supreme Person of Godhead adjusts all these different elements. Which are the elements? We will see. Keeping himself within as the super soul and without as the time. So, especially within material world or the material creation, this is how he manifests himself. So, within all the different elements, he is residing as Paramatma. And outside, between the interaction between these elements happen through the agency of time, kala, right? So this is what he explains. Now all this, what we are listening, is part of the sarga part. So we have sarga, visarga, and then of course the 10 subject matters. So right now this is the primary creation. Lord Brahmaji hasn't appeared yet. When Brahmaji comes and then he does that creative part using his intelligence, energies, efforts, etc. That part comes as visarga. He is expanding. The fundamentals, the ingredients are already given. So this comes under sarga part altogether. So what is that? So right now we are talking about the actual creation, like how the actual creation is taking place, especially the material side, the how the material manifestation is happening. So this is the actual creation, not that Brahmaji's creation. And then who is doing it? Lord Himself is doing it. How He is doing it? Of course, we can come down to Baramji, and then we can come down to four expansions. Then we can come down to Narayan. We can come down to again four expansions. Then we can come down to Sankarshan. Then we can come down to Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and Garbhodaksha Vishnu and Kshurodaksha Vishnu, Paramatma, right? So, but basically starts with Lord Himself, that is Krishna Himself, right? So when we mention Lord, so we can take it as Lord Himself, Krishna Himself, or Lord Mahavishnu, like that. Then why is happening? For the material creation, material manifestation is happening. And so this is like we say it's beginning, but actually it's not. It's not like it at one time it happened, it started. No, this is like existing all the time. Just like a spiritual world is there, the material world or material energy is also there, but it manifests. So when, so that's like sometimes it manifests, sometimes it doesn't manifest. So that's little tricky to understand, because as we see, Prabhupada gives the analogy of a cloud. If you see, if you fly, then you will go over the cloud. The aeroplane will go over the cloud, and then you will see the ocean of clouds. It's so nice, beautiful. Recently I had experience. So beautiful. So many clouds are there. And the shapes are there. Different shapes are there. Like a mountain of the cloud is also there. From If you see from the down, it appears like a straight one plane. But if you go above, then you will see, oh, there is a big shape as well. So from that perspective, what I was coming from is that that big cloud is there. Some portion of that cloud becomes that area where the material manifestation is happening, this whole cosmic creation. So it's like total is like 100%. So one fourth is for that area, and that's what Krishna says. Three-fourth is the spiritual world. So is of course spiritual world is eternal. The material manifestation is temporary. Material nature is always there, but the manifestation comes and disappears. And why it is so? Because the free will, for free will to exist, there has to be opportunity to exhibit, to take the action on that free will. So that opportunity is given in terms of this creation. So either we live with Krishna or we leave Krishna. Right? So this is how this manifestation, the basic principle. And then material world, this particular material world where we are living, it will manifest itself for some time and it will annihilate after some time. But then the material, total material energy is always there. It's always there. And Krishna's glance is not that Mahavishnu once upon a time he glanced over. No. It's like that. From that perspective, it's the eternal principle. Because many souls are continually coming and many souls are continually going back. So actually I have written Durga, but actually it's Maya. That is something correction required. Um, so Pradhan, sum total of material energy. So now we are going to discuss little bit on that. Before we begin that, let me just share the screen. Um, this is okay. So 17. Okay, where can I? Okay, 17. Yeah. Okay, we read little bit from Srila Prabhupada. If anyone wants to read, uh, maybe the highlighted part, if anyone wants to read, please, from the purport.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
The unmanifested state of material nature, pradhana, is being explained. The Lord says that when the unmanifested material nature is agitated by the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it begins to manifest itself in different ways. Before this agitation, it remains in the neutral state without interaction by the three modes of material nature. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah. So this is the beginning of discussion on Pradhan. Like, of course, it's little technical, but hopefully we will try to cover that simplified way. So glance, we heard about the glance, right? Here it was the glance. So, oh, it creates a new window. Okay. Hmm. Okay, no problem. Let me see. So this is how. So this is Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu, and this is Maya, the total material energy. So Mahavishnu is glancing. So before anything began, before this, even the cosmic, this material world existed, there has to be the elements for the fundamental elements. And for that, the another counterpart of the spiritual energy. So total spiritual energy is called what? The we from another perspective we have three different potency, but altogether we call it the spiritual potency. Whether it's Ahladini Shakti Chitta potency like that. Um, but then that is total spiritual energy, and the counterpart is the material, total material energy, and that represents as Maya. So Lord Vishnu is glancing over her, glancing over. Just like sometimes we can start some action. If mother looks at the child and the child sees that mother's feature, like expression on the face, is like that, that she is unhappy, then child will become quiet. um, he will stop the naughtiness straight away, or sometimes he will start some actions like that. So similarly, Lord Vishnu, or sorry, or Mahavishnu glance over the Maya, the total material energy, and the agitation started. So that state before the glance, or that energy is always there. Total material energy is always there. Just like a spiritual side is there, now the living entities are there, Tatastha Sakti. That means the other side, material energy, is also there. So that before the glance is Pradhan. That is, Pradhan is in matter in unmanifested and undifferentiated state. Unmanifested. Nothing has manifested yet. And undifferentiated. That means the different parts or sections with which we see all the indriyas, tanmatras, and everything, other elements required for material creation, hasn't been completely manifested in a differentiated form. So this is like all together, right, in one go. So that is called pradhan. Pradhan is like a uh, main thing. Um, And here in the verse, it's nicely given, which is, if you go maybe a couple of verses back in 10th verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the unmanifested eternal combination. See here again, the word it says eternal or eternal combination of three modes is the cause of material manifested and is called Pradhan. So this energy, this Maya Shakti has everything in her, but is not manifested yet because it requires the glance of Lord Vishnu, Mahavishnu, right? It is called Prakriti when it is manifested stage of existence. So gradually, as Lord glances over the three modes of material nature plus the time agitates, and then the manifestation starts coming out, and that is called Prakriti, and then later Mahatattva. So again, from the purport, it says Pradhan is a subtle, very subtle, undifferentiated sum total of all material elements. Although they are undifferentiated, one can understand that the total material elements are contained therein. So it's similar, like if we can see, I mean, just example, like if you want to construct some building, then you can store all the ingredients in one storage. From outside the storage, it will look like the storage is locked. You it's like you can just see the wall. You don't know what is inside. Inside, maybe the some groups, that is bricks are there, cement is there, the sand is there, water is there, and some other material which is required, the tools, everything is there. But from external perspective, it's like one wall, locked one. And then as we progress, as the projects kicks in, then initially the some material is required, some material is required later. So those material which required first will come out first, and those material which will require later will come out later, right? So this is initial part, the basic one. And then is talking about the prakriti. So prakriti, what is prakriti? Prakriti is matter in its manifested undifferentiated state. So now this is just a beginning. As Lord glance over what happened, maybe we can see the purport again. Let me see if I can. How can show the task here? I don't. This thing is not showing. Okay, I have to stop the slideshow to show. Okay, you can see the screen. Yeah. Uh, 3.2010. Yeah. Okay. Here the total. Where the total material elements are manifested by the interaction of the three modes of material nature. The manifestation is called Prakriti, right? So these material elements are manifested. They will take the form. They will start taking the form. Why? Because now Lord is glancing over. He desires something. What he is desiring? That he is desiring that these living entities who wants to enjoy separately than me, then I want to give them the opportunity. I want to give them the opportunity where they can enjoy. Just they can create the world which is similar like the spiritual world. Of course, they want without Krishna. So here we see all the living entities, conditioned living entities, tries to create the same environment. We have the family relationship. We want to enjoy. We want to do so many activities. We want to fly. The spiritual world, all the living entities, the devotees are doing the same, but they are doing with Krishna. So if we want to do the same in material world, then we need some different elements, starting with the basic elements like water, ether, etc. So then Krishna is creating that facility. So he's glancing over. So the question will come. Let me just share the screen again. The question will come. Okay. The question will come. Does it mean that the three modes came before Prakriti? From that perspective, yes. Because as it mentioned here, that Lord's glance is bringing all this. Because he knows. So then this is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. If you read Brahma Samhita chapter 5, whatever the verses we are doing, 29 onwards. But if you go back to 10th verse, 8, 9, 10, 10, especially 10, then nicely described. Everything is nicely described. So Krishna glanced over Maya, that is Mahavishnu glance, and that glance brought everything required. The three modes and the time factor Krishna gave. And the next question will come is about Mahat Tattva. So Mahat Tattva, what is Mahat Tattva? Mahat, a great Tattva. Tattva means the element. So the great element, what is that? Actually, here it is written from that other perspective that Mahattva is a matter in its manifested, differentiated state, ready for creation. So now different elements are coming out properly. So the as we will see what are the elements. Sometimes it is said that Mahat Tattva is the total cognizance, the total cognizance, that is consciousness. How the living entity, the conditioned soul is getting the consciousness in the material world. Chetana, how he is getting? He is getting through this Mahat Tattva when everything is manifesting. So this is given in 3:5:27. What is given? Thereafter, influenced by the interactions with eternal time, the supreme sum total of matter, called Mahatattva, became manifested. So, supreme total of matter. And in this matter, Mahatattva, the unalloyed goodness, the Supreme Lord, showed the seeds of universal manifestation out of his own body. So, this is where the so the seeds of universal manifestation. So what is that? The living entities. They will come out, right? And that's starting with the universe, and then Brahmaji, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and then Brahmaji, and then all the other living entities will come out. So the from the spiritual world, how the living entities are coming out, this is another flow. So along with these elements, the souls are also coming out, conditioned souls who want to enjoy. And for that, another verse, another presentation is given for Mahatattva is that Mahatattva is the total consciousness because a portion of it's represented in everyone's as intellect, the Chetana, intellect, Chetana, consciousness, you know, I exist, that is cognizance is given here. So this is how it happens. Now we go back to in slideshow. Now we go back to the purport. Why Prabhupada is stressing this point? Why we have to study this? Why we have to study this? What is the use of studying this? Because if you see the current status, what is happening in the world, um, people are just people are people are so grossly engrossed in sense gratification, even from the scientific perspective, they cannot think beyond the matter. They just cannot think beyond the matter. For them, the cause and effect is immediate. For them, the cause and effect is immediate. They think, I am doing this, I'm working very hard, and I'm earning money, I'm buying this facility, is giving me the enjoyment, and that's about it. They cannot even think about what is higher, and they cannot think how this whole show is working. They think that everything is happening automatically, just like this AI is coming, artificial intelligence. They think bringing the artificial intelligence will cure their so many problems, different industries. Maybe it will, but what about the real intelligence? Do they put some efforts to understand the real intelligence? No, they don't. And that is why these two examples are given. One is the nipples on the goat's neck, because if we want to drink milk, the milk comes from udder of the cows, right? And for the baby's mother's milk, right? Breast milk. So, but then the goat's neck has two nipples, but the milk doesn't come out. So no matter how many attempts you do, you squeeze for milk, it will not come out because it's not designed that way. So they forget the main principle. What is the main ingredients? Krishna, the Supreme Person, is the main ingredient. They consider that Big Bang happened, this happened, that happened, um, but then they don't question who is doing this, how this is happening. And this is what this Srimad Bhagavatam is clearly again and again is telling, that this is done by Krishna. Krishna is glancing over, Mahavishnu is glancing over the material nature, even though it has every capacity, just like a female. She has the egg in her body when she is coming to the puberty stage, 13 or 16 years. She has all the ingredients, but unless she will meet the male semen, she will not fertilize the egg. She will not have a baby. So the same way, these fundamental principles are telling that the behind this whole creation, Krishna is the source. Krishna is glancing over. If we understand that glance, if we understand that glance, if we understand why Krishna is doing that glance, Krishna is so merciful. He says, okay, you want to enjoy this way? I will create the whole creation for you. I will give you the ample opportunity. You go on enjoying. I create so many universes, one smaller, one bigger. You wanted a bigger, huge? Okay, I create for you. I will create all the required ingredients which is there in the spiritual world. Exactly, I will create there for you as well. In the spiritual world, some say time is not there, but in sometimes we read time is there. The effect of time is not there, but the abhas, the what do you call the experience of time is there, but the effect of time is not there in the spiritual world. Because otherwise, why would Krishna will become okay? चलो चलो अभी हमें जाना पड़ेगा वहाँ गाय चराने. Why he would say, and then in the evening he would come back playing the flute. He will come back. Why? Because time is there. It's like okay, morning हो गया, evening हो गया, afternoon में he will take the lunch. Just like he manifested the same Leela here in Vrindavan. That Leela is doing there as well. Different capacities, right? But the effect is not there. That means he is not getting old. Other sakhas, they are not getting old. But here we are getting old. So But then that manifestation, he is manifesting here as well, time. He is manifesting all the ingredients, Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, just to make us understand that I am the cause. But he is doing such a way that we will not see his presence directly because we don't want to see. Unless someone desires that now I want to see, I want to really find out who is doing this show. Then Krishna gives that intelligence. He connects the devotees. Oh, yes, now you can see Krishna who is behind this whole scene. So here, Prabhupada very nicely has said, okay, this is 16, okay, 17. Okay, here he says, ultimately, it is said that the Supreme Personal Godhead is the cause of creation. As a woman cannot produce children unless impregnated by a man, material nature cannot produce or manifest anything unless it is impregnated by the Supreme Personal Godhead in the form of time factor. So, this is the fundamental of understanding Pradhan, Mahatattva. Of course, technically we may understand, we may not understand. But what we need to understand is this, that behind this, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is doing this. If we understand that, that is sufficient for us. Now they are talking about IVF, or they are talking about the artificial way, or now they are talking about both same sex. Or so recently I read some that they got some what do you call success in creating the embryo, something like that, or cell. But they are using the same ingredients given by the Supreme. So how can they say they created something? They didn't create. Just like Brahmaji is manipulating the ingredients, everyone else is also manipulating the ingredients. So let us go through again further because time is running. So, oh, why is coming swapping? Okay, show taskbar. Mahat Tattva we discussed. Here he says further that Mahatattva is directly connected with the supreme consciousness of the supreme being, but it still appears as matter. That's interesting. Only Krishna can do it that way. Even the Brahmaji, the flower is coming, the lotus flower, the stem and then lotus flower, golden lotus flower is coming. Brahmaji is appearing, but then that's within the material world. So what should we understand? That is spiritual or material? That is spiritual. Brahmaji himself is almost pure Suddha. He just had little bit of passion, like a tinge. Sometimes you are mixing the colors for Lord's painting, and then you have a pure red, and if you add little bit of white, just little tiny drop, that redness you will feel that it has decreased little bit. Just little bit. It's not the same red, the strength, the brightness, the shyness. It's not the same. It has become little dull, even though it may be just a tiny drop of white. So similarly, here Mahatattva is connected with Krishna, strongly connected. Just a glance. Now, what is that glance? Is it spiritual? Because we hear Krishna doesn't interact with the material energy, Maya. But then he is interacting, he is glancing over. So physically is not. So what is that glance? That glance is in between Shambhu, we will see here, right? So here, Matata, shadow of the pure consciousness, germinating place for all creation, right? This is where it happens. It is pure goodness with a slight addition of material mode of passion, and therefore activity is generated from this point. So this is where actually all the manifestation are happening. Where we say Pradhan is manifesting as Prakruti through this agency of Mahatattva and continuing. Simply by the glance of Mahavishnu, consciousness is created, and this consciousness is known as Mahatattva. See, another definition of Mahatattva. Before it was compared to matter, but now it's compared to as consciousness. Now, who is consciousness? It's a living entity, consciousness. But this is total consciousness. The predominating deity of the Mahatmata is Vasudev. See, so Vasudev is manifesting that, and this is given in teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So moving to the next verse, it says about the super soul and time. Again, I have to show. I wish this. Okay, I have to end slideshow again. Verse 18. Let me show. My screen is still visible to you? Oh no, I have stopped it. Okay.
No problem.
No, okay. I'll share it now.
No, no, yeah. Now we can see.
Yeah. So 18. So 18 he says, by exhibiting his potency, the Supreme Person of Godhead adjusts all these three elements, keeping himself within as the super soul and outside as time. And of course, Prabhupada has given the analogy of two birds sitting on the same tree. That we all understand. The two birds are sitting. So in the same body, we have two birds, that is ourself and Krishna as Paramatma. We are eating the fruits of material nature. Krishna is not eating, right? He is doing the Upadasta and Anumanta. He is witnessing and then he is sanctioning, right? This is what is given in Bhagavad Gita. So that is there. And another word was given here. Okay, that let's cover. I have created a separate slide for this one. Yes, okay. For that, I can show it here. Okay, so, oh, again, so to see that. Now, in the purport, these phrases are given, the sentences are given. So I have taken from the purport. So one is that conditioned soul is misusing his free will. So far we have seen the Pradhan, then Prakriti and Mahatattva, and now we are talking about the living entities and the super soul. So conditioned soul is misusing his free will. That means actually soul is misusing his free will, then it's becoming conditioned soul, right? And for that, Prabhupada has written that the minute independence of the conditioned soul is exhibited by his marginal position. If he likes, he can forget the Supreme Person of Godhead and come into the material existence with a false ego to lord it over material nature. But if he likes, he can turn his face to the service of the Lord. So this Lord is creating this whole facility just for this principle. He is giving that free will to all of us, to all the jivas, the Shaktis, that okay, you can exhibit here or there. And when we exhibit, what happens? Then we become conditioned in this material world. But then Lord is so kind, it's given in the purport as well. That Lord is so kind that He always is always with the conditioned soul as Paramatma. And this is I have added is that conditioned soul has left him, but he has never left him. Think about his love for us. So great. I mean, you could live here nowadays, getting divorced and going away from the family or becoming unhappy with such and such person is common. It's so common. We become just little upset within even ISKCON. It's so common to get grudges against each other. And then some people they go away. They don't want to hear about ISKCON at all. They don't want to hear about the philosophy of this nicely presented by Srila Prabhupada. Something happens and they just can't handle it, right? It's easy to break. To be honest, it's easy to break. It's easy to break the relationship. It's so easy. But to maintain that relationship, that requires tolerance. That requires compassion. That requires understanding. That requires a true manifestation of love. And that's what is exhibited by Krishna here. He shows that love for us. He shows. He shows by coming here. Think about why he has to come here. I mean, why he has to expand himself, why he has to create this elaborate, you know, condition. Why can't he just create and then okay, let him let all the living entities go there. I'm here, and when they think about me, I will manifest myself. Right? He could have done this way. He doesn't need to expand himself as super soul, but then he does for both reasons. Without his sanction, without his presence, nothing can function, which we see. Lord Mahavishnu glanced over and material nature started. So the similarly, even the atom will not vibrate, will not move. Proton, neutron, we say it's moving or this thing is happening. Because Krishna is within that atom, within that Parmanu. Andasta Parmanu Jayantarastam, Govindam Adipur. Because he is within that atom has that energy, right? Without his presence. Now, for the living entity, he has a special consideration. He wants to hear, he wants to be with that living entity. He says, Mame Vamsa Jiva Bhuta. All the living entities are my part and parcel. So, how can I leave them? If they are living, that's okay. But how can I leave them? I will remain them. I will remain with them all the time. Doesn't matter whether they go to hell or they go to heaven. I will remain with them. And I will just wait for that opportunity when they want to talk to me, when they turn towards me. And then I will give them all the facilities. Sarvacha chaham hridishinavista natasmute granam apohanam cha. I will give them the remembrance, I will give them the forgetfulness. Whatever they desire, I will give them. If someone desires, I will, if someone is desiring a strong connection with me, then I will give them the supply of devotees. Somehow in our life, occasion, some by accident or some arrangement, some devotee will turn up in our life and say, oh, hey God, ever read about this Krishna? And then Krishna will manifest from Paramatma to Bhagavan Swarup. Right? And Lord's kindness, that is, and now he's um, yeah, here it says Upadasta Anumanta. Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, who is known as the super soul. So this is what Krishna is. So Krishna is through these two verses we understood that the cause of this whole creation was Krishna, is Krishna, and within the creation the the main function, the main person who is running the show is also Krishna in the form of two factors, that is the Paramatma and time. Right? Um, and then we just mentioned about the 26 elements of material creation altogether. So let's just quickly go through. Of course, there are many references. Some of them I found here. So 1 to 5, 5 subtle tan mantras, like how the differentiated and differentiated, and then it started differentiated. So it's in the subtle form. So these subtle forms is like this: sound, touch, sight, taste, water, earth, water, fire, and then Brahmadi utilizes this within one material world, and then it comes out as a gross form, but it has to exist in the subtle form. So that is Prakriti, right? And that is part of this. So, and then five gross objects, five working senses, five knowledge acquiring senses, mind, buddhi, intelligence, then false ego, the three modes of material nature, time, 25th, and super soul is 26th. Because, I mean, of course, super soul, Paramatma, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, is not part of the material creation. But because he is within here in this environment, um, sometimes is included. So all together is this side. Um, there are many references, but if someone is interested to know more about this, how this is working, is nicely given in Brahma Samhita, which I mentioned, 5.8 onwards. Um, of course, little tricky to understand, but very nicely described, especially Sambhu and the glance and what happens through that glance. Very nicely explained. Then, of course, there are many different verses in Bhagavad Gita we can relate to Prakriti and this material nature. I have listed down some of them. Prakriti Kirimani, Bhumi Rapunalo, Vayus, Aham Sarvasya Prabho. Then, okay, we mentioned that already. Tanmatras, subtle elements. Uh, and this picture is nicely given. So in ether, you can hear that is sound is there. Air, um, sound is there, and touch is also there. Effect of touch, sensation. Then fire, then it increases the sight. We can see because of fire element. The subtle aspect. Water, then we have taste. The taste comes through water. And then earth. Earth has all these five: sound, touch, form, flavor or taste, and smell. We have some time. Okay, so nicely given. Okay, so yeah, I read through that one. So 5.8, of course, what is mentioned in summary is mentioned here is talking about the Maya, like total material energy. Is talking about that verse. Then this verse is talking about Sambhu, Lord's glance. Vishnu Vasudev's glance is that Sambhu. So what is the Sambhu? Is the um, masculine aspect, progenitor aspect of the creation, that is Sambhu. And then through that glance, what is coming out? Different things. One of them is living entities, right? And then three more, and then time factor. And another reference is 11.3.8 as well is there. So this is the end of the presentation. If anyone has any question, I think we're almost on 1 hour dot that way. So if anyone has any question, comment, please. If anything missed out.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. First of all, thank you. It was a wonderful presentation. And we know this whole chapter is technical, and today's slokas were also technical. And very beautifully, you presented that with PowerPoint presentation, so many references from Srimad Bhagavatam, from Brahma Samhita. So, thank you for this uh, clearing this cloud which was because of the technicality. So, very nicely presented. Yeah. I think Vijay Mataji has to say something. Yeah, Vijay Mata, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Prabhuji, excellent presentation, particularly with the slides. I've actually made about 2 pages of notes, and I'll go back and review them again. Uh, but certain points that stood out for me, which kind of provided a lot of clarification. One about the Sarga and Visarga, and the comment that you made, material nature is eternal, but material manifestation is temporary. So these subtle differences, through your slides and through examples also you explained. And also Pradhana, Prakriti, and Mahatattva. Each of these you kind of explained with examples, particularly when we're talking about, the mother, the glance of the mother, kind of can correlate to that. Nothing happens, but when the glance, with that glance, the child actually gets to know that it has done something, and then that agitation happens. In the same way, at a much, bigger level, or the starting point of everything was that glance when we all landed into, this, material universe. Then, Prabhuji, in one more thing that I kind of, was able to connect was when you spoke about AI. that it is a cure for all, but unfortunately, going behind AI, we are missing out the real intelligence, the RI. So the RI factor is something that maybe with the intelligence that the Lord has given, try and figure out what that actually means, um, and also the Lord's mercy. The main thing ultimately for me, the biggest takeaway is, it is the glance of the Lord, which is actually His mercy, which allows us to, kind of enjoy what we want. And also the fact about, see how, I don't know how we get this into our heads and go in that direction. We can experience the same thing in the spiritual world with Krishna on our side. Unfortunately, without Krishna, we are trying to enjoy in this material world, and that is, the root cause of all the problems and sufferings that we have. And the analogy of two birds also, how the Paramatma, is there as upadrashta anumanta cha bhakta bhokta maheshwara hai. He doesn't leave us, and that line also is beautiful, Prabhuji. Conditioned soul has left him with a capital H, but he again, capital H, has never left him. Again, it shows Krishna's love and mercy for all, for all of us. Prabhuji, when I looked at the verse, for me, I thought I'll just connect this to one verse of Bhagavad Gita that came to my mind, which is 14.3. Mama Yonar Mahad Brahma Tasmin Garbhan Dadami Aham Sambhavaha Sarva Bhutanam Tato Bhavati Bharata. So the translation is, the total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth. And it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata. So Prabhupada ji Vahan gives the example of an analogy of a scorpion. He says, scorpion lays its eggs in a pile of rice. And sometimes it is said that the scorpion is born out of the rice. But the rice is not the cause of the scorpion. Actually, the eggs were laid by the mother, and then we go back to the Lord, because the seed is actually given by the Lord, which is more or less, kind of, thought I'll just share that analogy, because I felt that maybe connected to that. And Prabhuji, also about, you mentioned that the glance also is, is not something inactive. The glance itself, right? You said is, Shambhu. I had a couple of questions, Prabhuji, because somewhere I said it is Shiva. So would it make a difference if we say Shambhu or Shiva in the context? Number one. And the second one, you did also, start by saying, it was Durga, and then you said it is Maya. So would it make a difference if we say Durga or Maya? Because for me, sometimes I kind of, tend to use them interchangeably. So if you can, provide some clarification on that, Prabhuji. Again, thank you for an excellent lecture, a very complicated topic, which we have to revisit again and again. But I think I've taken detailed notes, and I'm sure that, whenever I have doubt, I will refer to these. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mata, thank you for very nicely summarizing all the points and as well as the two inputs. What words you said about the Bhagavad Gita? 14 point? Was it 14 point?
14.3, Prabhuji.
14.3.
14.3.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And the second one is about the Sambhu. So, I mean, if you refer this Brahma Samhita and chapter 5, of course, we have the Brahma Samhita. I just put it in a chat. Verses, the chat. Okay. Verses 8 onward. So, yes, we can, like, like it's a common Sambhu or Shiva. It's okay. I mean, we have Sadashiv as well, right? So sometimes it interchangeably used, but then the appropriate would be Shambhu in the sense, like, because then again, like further down, Brahmaji comes, and then from Brahmaji Rudra, right? 11 Rudras have come out, and that one of the Rudra we call as Lord Shiva, right? So then, of course, within that material world, one particular world. So this is outside. This is still like it's between. Actually, if you read further, it says this is in between. So Shambhu is like in between the spiritual world and material world. It's like a between Virja river, like just like we have that boundary, so no one can come through um, without qualification. Similarly, this glance, this is actually is the proper would be used to Shambhu, but then sometimes it is used interchangeably. I have noticed. And regarding Durga and Maya, actually when I initially used Durga word, but when I did the further study, I came across the word Maya because I mean I can give you the reference later. I will pass it to Gopi Mano Prabhu, um, and he can pass it to everyone. But I came across that, and then that particular where it was said that just like we have the spiritual potency, and then counterpart of that spiritual potency is called Maya. And just like that is the total spiritual energy, the counterpart is total material energy, and that is used as like is called as Maya. So I would consider that would be more appropriate. Now Durga. So again, today is a wonderful day as well. That's great. We are talking about Durga Devi. Today is I think is appearance day or some uh, puja day. Let me just check. Yeah, today is Jagat Dhatri Puja. Jagat Dhatri, here it says Durga in Bengal. The festival is predominantly observed in Bengal where they worship Mother Durga in various forms at different times of the year. Mother Durga has hundreds of names according to her various pastimes, right? So, um, from that perspective, when we come down to Durga, normally we refer her for this within this material world because within this material world also there has to be one person who is managing the affairs, and that person is Durga. I mean the female side, and the male side is Lord Shiva. So another name is Parvati, like that. So Durga would be appropriate for this within the material world, whereas and that may we have many universes, so many Lord Shiva, many Durgas, and then all of it combined all together whole material energy is Maya, like that. That's my understanding when I was reading from, but sometimes it's used interchangeably. That's okay as well, depends on the context. Yeah. I hope this is clear.
Yes, Prabhuji. So I think appropriate, at least for this, this creation part, the Sarga part, reference would be to Shambhu and to Maya.
Maya, yeah, that would be more
Thank you.
appropriate. Yeah,
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Got it. Thank you.
yeah,
Hare Krishna.
thank you. Anyone else?
Hare
Not
Krishna.
then.
I think so. No, actually, these things are very technical. So I
Yeah,
think, okay. So first, then thank you, Prabhu, for such a wonderful presentation once again, giving your time and making PowerPoint presentation and explaining. Thank you for that. And we'll meet many more such sessions. Dear Prabhu, please give your
th-
association, give your time. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
th- thank you, Gopi Mano Prabhu, and thank you all the assembled devotees. Thank you very much for kindly presenting this service to me. Um, the only thing I would like to say, and personally, I also try to follow the same way, is uh, regardless whether I understand this technical stuff or not. I mean, of course, it's given to us, we read through, but then I personally don't put so much efforts understand technical side. Rather, our purpose or our efforts, I consider is more associating with Krishna. If we know Krishna, then later he will reveal. If required, he will reveal. Just like to Arjuna. He said, "Oh, Arjuna, you are asking this many questions." Arjuna said, "Yes, I want to understand." And then finally, Arjuna said, "Now I want to see how you are manifesting." And then Krishna said, "Okay, I give you the vision. And 11th chapter, the universal form, Krishna showed everything. Just like Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda is like, oh, Krishna, you are eating the mitti. Mother Krishna, no. But then Krishna wanted to show her. I mean, recently I heard from Radha Govinda Maharaj, I'm listening his lecture about this pastime. And then he said, actually, Acharya says that why he ate that mitti, of course, is Vrindavan dust. But then that rus is so much in the Vrindavan dust that he wanted to feed the whole existence. Because the whole existence is within his mouth, so he put the dust within his mouth. That means the whole existence got that taste. And then to Mother Yashoda, he was showing that, oh, I haven't eaten, but actually the whole world has eaten through me. So then Krishna opened and he showed his like the whole existence, including Mother Yashoda. So we just depend on Krishna, and then he says he gives the intelligence. Sometimes he gives us remembrance, sometimes he will give us forgetfulness. So that's okay. We may not have to go too much in technical side. Just understand enough that behind this creation, Krishna is the supreme cause, and he is so loving that he will take care of us. With that, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for the saying.
Hare
One shot kalpitam
Krishna. Patinana Pavane Pyo Vaishnavyo Namo Ananda Vishnu Ki Jai.